Imagine a power so absolute that you would sacrifice your very reflection to own it. In the heart of ancient Africa, where the sun kisses the red earth and gods once walked among men, there lived a queen whose ambition was louder than her conscience. Her name was Azmar, and she was once the greatest hope of her people. But history doesn't remember her for the peace she brought. It remembers her for the bargain that turned her blood to ice. What if the price of saving your kingdom was losing the one thing that makes you human? Azmar wasn't born a monster. She was a daughter of the savannah, a visionary who watched her empire crumble under plague and the iron boots of invaders. As her people starved, she realized that mortal strength would never be enough. She needed something more. She needed the kind of power that makes the stars tremble. Have you ever felt so desperate that you'd listen to the shadows? On the night of the blood moon, Azmar walked alone into the Forbidden Grove. It is a place where the birds daunty sing and the wind whispers in languages long dead. There, she met the Weaver of Shadows, an entity as old as the first breath of man. The Weaver offered her a pact. I will give you the strength of 10,000 lions and the wisdom of the spirits. Your enemies will wither and your granaries will never be empty. But there is no such thing as a free crown. The Weaver's price was simple. Give me the warmth in your chest. Give me the part of you that feels, the part that loves, the part that dreams. Give me your soul. Most would have fled in terror, but Azmar looked at the dying kingdom and reached out her hand. The moment their skin touched, the sky turned a bruised purple, and the Queen of Africa was weeping. Suddenly, the world changed. Within a single moon, the invading armies didn't just retreat, they vanished into the earth. The plague lifted like a morning mist. Azmar's kingdom became the wealthiest on the continent, with towers of ivory and streets of gold. But look closely at the queen's eyes. They were no longer the deep brown of the earth. They were as cold and hollow as a winter moon. The people rejoiced at first, but fears soon replaced their cheers. You see, a queen without a soul doesn't rule with justice. She rules with calculation. Azmar became a machine of efficiency. She banned music because it served no purpose. She outlawed festivals because they wasted time. Even her own children were treated like chess pieces on a board. She had saved their lives, but she had stolen their joy. Can a kingdom truly prosper if its heart is dead? Years passed, and the golden age began to rot from the inside. The crops grew tall, but they tasted like ash. The water was clear, but it couldn't quench thirst. The people realized they weren't living in a kingdom. They were living in a beautiful cage. And at the center of it all sat Azmar, a woman who had forgotten how to laugh, how to cry, or how to even remember the name of the man she once loved. The whispers began in the dark corners of the palace. The elders knew the prophecy. A throne built on a shadow will eventually be swallowed by it. They saw the queen's skin turning the color of gray stone. They saw her reflection disappearing from the palace mirrors. The Weaver of Shadows was coming to collect the rest of her. The debt was due, and the queen had nothing left to give but the lives of her subjects. In a final act of desperation, her youngest son led a rebellion not with spears, but with the one thing Azmar no longer understood: sacrifice. They didn't want her crown. They wanted her soul back. They journeyed back to the Forbidden Grove to break the pact, knowing that if they succeeded, the Golden Age would vanish instantly. They had to choose: live as wealthy slaves to a hollow queen, or as free men in a ruined land. The confrontation was silent and terrifying. As the rebels burned the Weaver's effigy, the magic holding Azmar together began to unravel. Back at the palace, the queen felt a sudden, agonizing heat in her chest. For the first time in decades, she felt pain. She felt the weight of every life she had crushed. She felt the hollow echo of the soul she had sold. And in that moment of clarity, she didn't fight back. She wept. As the soul returned, the power fled. The ivory towers crumbled into dust. The gold turned back into lead. The invincible armies became old men. Azmar sat on a throne of dirt, her hair white and her body frail. She was no longer a goddess. She was just a woman who had realized, too late, that power is a ghost that leaves you shivering in the dark. Today, the ruins of her palace are buried beneath the desert sands. They say if you stand in the center of the dunes at midnight, you can still hear a woman's voice carried on the wind. She isn't screaming for her lost empire or her stolen gold. She is simply whispering the names of the people she forgot how to love. So, I leave you with this. If you were offered the world today, but you had to forget the sound of your mother's voice or the feeling of the sun on your skin, would you take it? Because the story of Queen Azmar teaches us one thing above all. The most expensive thing you will ever own is the power that costs you yourself.